Listen up, Rangers! Welcome to the Geek Chest. My name's Steve, and I'm back from G-Fest. If you guys didn't already know, because I already put up a Toy Haul video, and if you guys want to go check it out, right up there. But for this video, I'm actually going to be going over my experiences from G-Fest, which for this video, it's going to be for the first day that I was there, because I was there for 2, even though the convention was for 3, but I sadly had to miss the 3rd day of the convention because of work constraints, because my wife had to be back to work the next day. So we ended up having to leave, and I had to miss out on the Fresh Vinyl panel, which was a bit of a bummer. And there's a few other things that would have been cool to kind of check out for the 3rd day. But got the majority of the experience for the first 2 days. So for my first day, pretty much we left pretty early because I live about 30 miles from Detroit in Michigan, which it took us about 6 hours to get down to Detroit. But even with the long trip, it was still definitely worth it in the end. Just because on the way down, it was a really nice drive, even with the gloomy sky. And it just started bringing back a lot of memories, especially once we hit Chicago, like, oh man. Which it really just brought back all the feels from that original 1998 convention, because that was one of the funnest experiences I've had in my life, other than my wedding. But it was just really cool to meet a ton of like-minded people like myself that just have a huge love of giant kaijus, which is something in my area, you meet the occasional person that enjoys it, but it's not really a thing. Like, I meet a lot more people that are really interested in anime over anything more live-action-y from Japan. Other than my wife, who's a pretty unique situation, because we actually, little-known story, I'll try to be brief, is that we actually were in our homerooms at high school together, which is how I found out she actually was into Godzilla and a lot of the same stuff I was. But we never really hit it off in high school, but eventually we met back together at a Suncoast when I was in college, and I just recently broke up with my girlfriend, so I decided to ask her out on a date. And then it kind of just blossomed to what it is today, and we got married. Which actually works out really sweet because we actually both pretty much love the exact same things, and she really doesn't hinder my toy collecting at all, especially since for the most part we like buying the same stuff in general. It's just she kind of makes fun of my Power Ranger habits. But getting back on topic, once we actually got to the hotel, it was actually really, really nice because we were staying at the Hilton, which was about one hotel away from where the convention was held at, which our hotel room was actually really nice, which I'll show you guys a little video of it real quick.
And here's our messy hotel room.
It's actually really nice.
And here's the view from our awesome hotel room. Yeah.
Kind of hoping for a plane to pass by.
Yeah. Woo.
And it was just really convenient because we couldn't get initially at the hotel that the convention was at, which was really bummer, the Crown Plaza, because it got booked up really fast. So we were really lucky that we were pretty much just a straight walk to the convention, even though we had to go through this parking structure, which was kind of very reminiscent of those horror movies. And funny little thing is there was actually a car you could tell that was been sitting there for a while because how much dust was on that thing, the profanity was on it. I think it said it had a body in the trunk on the side of it. It was weird. So once we got into the convention, it was actually really crazy to see just how many people were actually there. Like back in 1998 when I went, there was pretty much like enough people to fill one of the ballrooms at this convention, let alone just how many people were actually just walking around there. Like, it was crazy. Like, when we went to the theater later on, that place was stupid huge, and we filled that pretty easy. I can't imagine, like, everybody went to that thing, you know? And it was just really neat to see just how much the convention has really prospered from back when I went in 98 to now. And it was just cool to see just, like, all these people are here for Godzilla, Gamera, and just giant monsters in general. It's just awesome to see. And then we had to go get our registration, which this is what it looked like. If I can get my lanyard out of the way. Stop it. Which is pretty cool. It has a little picture of Gigantus on the front of it. Has my little name on it. And I put it on my little lanyard that I got from the GameStop Rewards program. It has this little Godzilla on it. And we ended up getting a couple of t-shirts too, which I showed off in my toy haul video. And they also had some bugs, but we ended up not getting those because money. But after that, we went downstairs to check out, they were playing Gamera the Brave, which is something cool at that convention that they were doing, is every day they were playing movies. Well, the first day, since it was the 50th anniversary of Gamera, they were actually just playing Gameras all day down the little basement area. And it was really neat because the one I actually went and checked out was Gamera the Brave, because I never officially have seen that movie all the way through, even though I still missed the intro, sadly. But got to see the majority of the middle and the climax. And it was just cool to see because I never really seen that movie. And when I watched it, it didn't have subtitles. And it's just actually a really cool movie overall, because I love Gamera, especially the Heisei Gameras are my favorite giant monster movies of all time. Even, sadly, more so than Godzilla. I know I'm being blasphemous. And sadly, I want to go check out some of the other movies that they were playing at the time, because, again, they're playing all the Gamera movies. But we ended up standing a lot of lines the first day, and I missed some of the panels I wanted to go check out for the day one. But what we ended up doing after we went and saw Gamera the Brave is we went up to the Dojo Studios room. And right here you can see the nice G-Fantas cutout when you're first walking up to the Dojo Studios that they had set up on the side here. And the first thing I noticed when I walked in was this King Ghidorah costume just chilling on the floor here. And there's also this little Ibra sitting out on the back here. And here's just another angle of them from behind. And what they were doing was they were making a video for G-Fest of the G-Fantas Deathmatch, which they actually were filming at the convention. You can see here a bunch of the buildings set up in the back. And what they were going to be doing is they're actually be having some people dressed up in kaiju outfits actually fighting in those backdrops back there, which I sadly missed because we didn't actually were able to make it back for when they were shooting or playing the video later on. But it was really cool just to see the entire setup that they had going on here. And here are all the masks that they had set up from previous videos that they've shot, like with the Godzilla Battle Royal. And then they have some of the sculpts in this really awesome Godzilla right here. And then for these pictures, they're a little bit more better quality pictures of Gi-Fantas. There's the Space Godzilla head, and also some more Godzillas and a Mando right there. So after that, we decided to go stand in the line for the autograph signing, because I believe that was at around 11. So we stood in the line initially for that, and then realized that I didn't bring any of the stuff that I want autographed with me. So I ended up running back to the hotel, which was about a 15-minute walk. Ran all the way back to find out that they weren't doing the autograph signings till around 1 o'clock, I believe it was. So I was just like, after running all the way back there and back. So we ended up going to stand in the dealer room line, which was kind of weird because I just remember initially when I went way back when, there wasn't really any line at all when you wanted to get in there. But then again, also the dealer room was like half the size. But it was really cool to see just all the people just kind of just lining up already to make sure they get toys. Because I know I love me some toys, but there's other stuff to do at a convention. Like, personally, I want to walk around, but Jess is like, we need to be here right now. Because she did not want to miss out on anything that was going to be in there. Which kind of worked out in the long run, because when we went in there, we ended up getting a free DVD for the Godzilla Battle Royal, which is awesome, by the way. But the funny thing is I'll show you guys a little video real quick right here of just the people kind of just sitting in front of us waiting for the dealer room to open up. And then behind us, the line was like going all the way pretty much to where I initially got in to get into the convention. And I'm assuming it probably was even going outside because there's a ton of people that started piling up in that direction. So what me and Jessica ended up doing is we would end up standing there and we would alternate between each of us and go check out the convention. And I ended up going to the Artists Gallery, which what this was an art gallery where you can actually go buy prints and original artwork from a lot of artists that do a lot of Godzilla and same kind of material. And it was just really cool to see a lot of different styles of Godzilla, and ended up actually picking up a decent amount of stuff from in this room, because this was just something that wasn't really at the convention when I really went to it. It was just something very refreshing to see. So after that, we stood in the dealer line for a little bit more until 1 o'clock for when they started to do the autograph signing. So I sent my wife over that way originally to get the autographs, because I get really nervous meeting people, especially more famous people. So it's the main reason why I sent her, because I just get like, I'm a nervous wreck when I do the stuff like that. But funny thing that happened is she didn't actually know who was supposed to autograph what, even though I tried to explain it to her, but didn't end up clicking. So I ended up having to go myself while she stood in the dealer line, which ended up being a good experience because I kind of need to get over this. But even though afterwards I was a little bit like, after getting the autographs. But anyways, I got my SH Monsters Kiryu's from Godzilla X Mechagodzilla signed by Masaki Tezuka, who was the director of that film. Which, funny thing is I don't know if anybody else got an action figure signed prior to me, but initially when I walked up to the table, I seen a lot of people were getting posters or DVDs signed by him. And I actually, when I got to the table, being nervous wreck that I am, he just kind of was like, well, what's like getting autographed? And I was like, I pulled my Kiryu box out of the backpack. And he just kind of stared at it, just like, huh. He's just like, where you want to sign? So I ended up having to pick the color to get it signed by. I ended up getting my picture taken with him too. And it was just really cool meeting the guy because he seemed really nice. And it was just a really awesome experience. And also, I ended up getting a Tokyo SOS poster signed by Noboru Taneko. I'm probably saying that wrong, but so I'll just call him Noboru. But he was the pilot of Kiryu in Tokyo SOS, which initially I was going to get him to sign the Kiryu that I brought, but since it wasn't from the right film, it didn't seem appropriate. So I ended up getting him to sign the Tokyo SOS poster. Funny story is when we went to the dealer room later after getting the autographs, which real quick, I got a picture with him as well, and you can kind of see the little poster on the bottom and us throwing her the signs. But I ended up going to the dealer room later, and the prints and the poster we bought, I had Jessica carrying them around, and she ended up checking out a couple of the dealer stuff, and she sat it down at one of the dealer booths, and then they went missing, which sucked, because I ended up having to go back, and I got everything pretty much back. It's just I had to go do a sob story with some of the artists, and they ended up cutting me a little bit of deal getting the prints again. And then I ended up making Jessica, because I'm not going to really blame anybody for what happened, because it's our mistake for setting it down. Definitely should know better. But it actually worked out in the long run, because I ended up going back and getting Noburu's autograph again. But this time I actually had him sign a Power Ranger toy, which is something initially I seen one of them sitting in the back, but I didn't have enough cash on me at the time because I had to go to the ATM, but I didn't want to leave because I was in line. But I ended up getting assigned the Gal Red Ranger, which he was also Gal Red from Gal Ranger. And it was really cool to get him to autograph that, because I just wanted something a little bit different in my collection other than just like another poster, you know? And also it was really cool to get that figure signed because of the whole infamousy of the American actor because it's from the same show as Power Rangers Wild Force, which, needless to say, the guy's known for stuff if you guys want to look it up. But it was just really cool to get him to sign it because I just love Japanese stuff in general, so it just meant a lot more to me to get his autograph than, say, like the American actor autograph. And it was just really cool to meet the guy because he seemed really sweet as well. And we ended up checking out both the guys' panels later, which I'll show you guys in the next video. But as punishment, I actually made Jessica get a picture with him too, even though she was just as nervous as I was about getting it done. But I was like, you lost my posters. You owe me one. And then finally, we ended up getting into the dealer room, which initially when we walked in, we got the free DVD for the Godzilla Battle Royal, which I actually watched it. Really awesome. And initially, just my first impression of walking in, there's just so many people and so much Godzilla. Like, it's pretty much a kaiju heaven in there. Especially if you are into vinyl action figures. Like, if you're into vinyl, there's no better place to go buy figures. Like, they had literally, like, everything you could want. And most of them are a pretty good price, too. Like, I recommend if you are going to go to their shop, walk around them initially just to make sure you get some prices and then go pick a shop that you really want. Because some people there's varying degrees of prices here and there. But it still was really sweet just to see the variety of vinyls. And just all the newer Godzilla figures, like, they had everything you could want if it was newer. I was a little more depressed not to see as much older stuff, because there was some here and there other than the vinyls. Because initially when I went there to get the SH Burning Godzilla, which I found one, and only seen one. I want to stress that. Because when I bought it, I was like, another guy was actually looking, and I was just like, take my money! But, so I ended up getting it. But it was just really weird, because I was kind of figuring it would be a little bit more, like, more people would probably have that figure, and just the one dude had it. And he had it for a pretty good price, because it wasn't the $200 you see it online. And it was just weird, because even walking around, like, I only seen, like, one of the original SH Monsters Godzilla, where he has the beam effect with them, which I kind of want to buy that, but I already have the reprint, and the Rebirth Godzilla is a little bit better, so I passed on it. And it was just weird, because, like, I also went there to try and find some of the Ultrac monsters. Nobody had them. Nobody. And same with, like, some of the older X Pluses. There wasn't quite as many of those there. But you can still find older figures, though. Like, I've seen that somebody had the DreamWorks Ultraman figures, which I almost wanted to buy the entire set that the guy had, because he had them for a pretty good price. But he didn't have the Ultraman. And I felt so bad, because I was like, I could order them, but there's other stuff I can go buy. I'm sorry, man. But it was cool to see, like, that stuff, because, like, that's my childhood, because that's mainly the Ultraman I know with the original one. And there was, like, some other cool stuff there, too. Like, they had a lot of the newer X Pluses. I seen the gigantic Burning Godzilla, which if I had brought enough money with me, that thing would be in my collection right now. but I didn't initially bring that much with me because I figured more people were going to be having like the little credit card swipers on their phones, which I think only 2 guys had it there. So that was a bit of a bummer. So that's why mainly I got a lot of more smaller expensive stuff, like in like the $100 range, and not like I think he was like $650 at a couple of the booths. And the other cool thing too is there was just so much stuff that wasn't Godzilla there as well. Because even though it's a Godzilla convention, I expect to see a lot of Godzilla. It's refreshing to see not the same thing at every single booth. Because like at one booth, I seen the Kreitz from Critters, which is like my favorite horror movie from when I was a kid. It was just cool seeing that stuff. There was some alien stuff that I seen there. There was anime figures. If you guys see my toy haul video, you actually seen I got some of the B-Fighter figures, which is really awesome. There was some Power Ranger stuff. And then just like varying degrees of kaiju category stuff. Like even like the Pacific Rim figures especially were there. And then it was just like, it wasn't even all figures. Like there's people with posters, which I have actually a funny story with the posters lady, but that happened the second day, so I'll bring it back up later in another video. But they had posters, stuffed animals, actual like prop looking pieces, like the heads you could hang on the walls. Those are really sweet. One guy had the Godzilla ornaments. I almost wanted to buy them, but there's other stuff I was looking for. Funny thing though is it was actually the guy that actually made the ornaments was the one that had them, and I was like, oh man, I wish I'd known you were here. I would actually brought my old ornaments to get autographed, because that would have been sweet, because I love things autographed. I even see Richard Uso selling stuff there, which I actually wanted to go say hi to him, but again, I'm a really shy person, especially with the whole autograph signing thing. I was already kind of like drained out of that whole experience, so I never really had a good opportunity to meet with them, and it was a bummer because it would have been cool to meet another YouTuber. I did end up saying hi to Chris, but that was mainly on the second day, so I'll bring that back up then. And there's a couple other YouTubers I seen there as well. So I wasn't trying to avoid people. It's just, again, I'm really shy, so it's just really hard for me to come up to people. But it was cool actually seeing other people that I actually knew from YouTube there as well. Not just a couple of the people that are actually just well known for Godzilla. So if you really love Godzilla toys, I would actually really recommend going to this convention, mainly just for that. Because there was just like so much variety. The stuff was pretty reasonably priced. Like there's a couple of things where you're just kind of like, eh. But for the most part, everything was really good. So if you're just a big fan of Godzilla toys, like that just pretty much makes the trip worth it in general. After that, we actually went back to the Dojo Studios to see what kind of progress they made. And we actually, when we were walking in, they're starting to film the fight scenes for the video they were shooting, which I kind of wish I got some footage of that, but it was really cool to see kind of the processes of that they were going along. And also I got a little bit more shots of the puppets and masks from the Battle Royal that they had spread out on the table, which again, these things look awesome. It was really sweet to see these things up close and personal, and even some Godzillas that I don't actually 100% know where they're from, but they look sweet too. And just another long shot of everything at the table. And then you can see my beautiful wife walking in and checking out G Fanis right there. So after the dinner room and running around picking up everything that we ended up losing, we decided to go get something to eat, which we went to Gino's East, which actually was something I seen on Man vs. Food, which I guess are really well known for the Chicago deep dish, which was another one of the fails of the day that we were having, is because we went there with about an hour to eat, which we kind of figured was going to take a little while because we were really busy. And then we found out that the deep dish was going to take about 40 minutes to make. So we ended up just getting some sandwiches there. Like I got the turkey club and Jessica got a burger, which still ended up turning out really good. Like I was really impressed with the food. Like I was impressed with the food in general for the 3 days that I was there, because we ended up just eating at the food court over at the outlet mall that they had around there, and it was delicious. Like we got some Japanese there, and it was for $8. Like I was impressed with the amount of food that they gave us, and everything tasted fantastic. And I just cannot recommend it. Like if you guys are at the convention, go to that food court. It's like a little secret area that just everything is delicious, especially for the price. Like it wasn't that unreasonable. After that, we made our way to the Pickwick Theater, where they were doing, if I can find it, the Symphonic Fury, which they were going to be playing the music of Kao Otani and Akira Ifukube, which actually ended up turning out really sweet, especially with the theater, which I have a couple of pictures of just the theater with a little bit of lighting going on, because it was actually a really pretty theater on the inside of it, very old, kind of rustic looking, has a lot of really awesome art on the top of the ceiling, and I was actually just pretty impressed with the way it was, even though the parking was a pain down there, because they had something else going on too. I think it was like a food thing, and so parking was a pain, but we ended up actually getting really close to the theater. We just kind of got lucky that a car was backing out when we got up there. So after we got parked and got into the theater and got seated, the first set of music that they played was from Kawatani, the music that they played that he did was from Gamera Guardian of the Universe, Gamera Advent of Legion, and Revenge of Iris, and also from Godzilla GMK, which is actually really sweet, which I got a little bit of footage from it, but it's not the best because my camera work sucks for the most part, so sorry about that. But they did have a kind of funny introduction, which I'll show you guys real quick.
As Maestro John DeSantis once said, Gamera and Godzilla have never once battled it out on the big screen, but they will be battling it out here musically tonight on this stage. So are you ready? Shall the fury begin?
Yes!
Let them fight.
And then the first section of music that we got to hear was from Gamera Guardian of the Universe, which was awesome. And then they played the other two movies in the GMK music, and it was just really awesome hearing that music in that kind of setting in the theater. Like, there's just really no better way to experience that music. So after that, Kawatani actually got on stage and just kind of closed out his little section of the music. There's actually one little funny bit, which I'll play right now.
Mr. Otani has a few special words he'd like to share with you, and translating for him, of course, will be M11 himself, Robert Scott Field. Mr. Otani.
Hello. Thank you very so much, orchestra, choirs, John, and everybody. I'm so excited. Yeah, I don't think you need a translator.
Yeah!
And then he has his closing for his section, which was just really awesome. Like, people were actually going to get his autographs afterwards, which I sadly, again, didn't go up because I was just like, no. Especially with all the people around. Like, I just, again, get super nervous. So, but it was really cool to see how just humble this guy is. Actually taking time out of his schedule to go just enjoy being with the fans. And it's just something that was really cool to see at this convention. And then for the next set of music, they played Akira Ifukube's music, which is actually the more noticeable Godzilla music you guys will probably know. And it was just really awesome to hear that stuff, and again, in a theater setting, because it's just loud, and just how Godzilla music should be experienced, just booming. Like, you expect Godzilla to be breaking through that theater anytime now after you hear that music. And it was just awesome. Like, I'm super glad I actually went, because initially we weren't even planning on going. But I was figuring, like, we got down there, so like, why not? Especially since the theater was only, like, a couple-minute drive from here. Like, what could go wrong, you know? And it ended up turning out just being probably one of the funner experiences from the trip. Because it was just something I'd never done before. Like, I've never even really been to, like, a rock concert or anything. So this was just something that was new for me, and it was just a really awesome experience. And then after that, we were going to try to go watch Godzilla vs. Biollante, but with the really long line and it already being after 10, like, we were already, like, just wiped out from the day. Because it was just all the walking and us being like an hour off and getting not much sleep the night before, we just decided to go back to the hotel and crash. And that's pretty much our day one, which like, it was actually, even with the little mishaps of losing some of the art prints and the little bit of a fail on Geno's, it still ended up being a really awesome day. Got a lot of sweet toys, got to meet a lot of cool people, especially got autographs. Like, there's nothing better, you know? And ending the day with an awesome Godzilla concert, like, there was literally nothing better for me that could really happen. And that concludes this video. So if you guys went to G-Fest, please comment below. Let me know your guys' experience. If you guys had just as awesome as one as I did. And even if you didn't, are you guys going to be going next year? Because as of right now, I really recommend it. We'll see how day 2 went. But as of right now, it was stupid fun. Yeah, spoiler alert, the second day was just as good. Actually, possibly even better. But I will get that over in the second video. And then make sure to help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button. Subscribe to become a ranger today. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.